Hey there, it's been a great week. Got quite a bit done. Um, there was quite a few days of rain. We had really heavy thunderstorms, and everything got flooded again, but I'm getting kind of used to it right now. Hopefully, um, following week, I think the 23rd of June, we're going to be getting a big delivery of gravel, about 13 tons. Yeah, hopefully, once I get the gravel and I get it spread around all these pathways and on the patio, it will be a lot less mud, and we'll be one step closer to actually finishing this massive project of this back garden. Another thing that's kind of interesting in France, I don't know if they do it in the rest of Europe, but there's a plastic mesh that there's a color coded that you bury a certain height above where your surfaces are. So um, if you've got a poo pipe, it's brown, and if you've got a water pipe, you use this blue mesh, and basically it lets you know that if when you're digging down, oops, there's something another few centimeters below, or like 60 centimeters or half a meter, something like that below. And they do the same thing for red, which would be electricity, and then yellow, I believe, is gas. Another project I did was I finished off wrapping and putting the gravel in for French drain that runs around the garden and the inside where this tree is here. It's hopefully going to suck away some of the um, some of the rainwater because the whole backyard slopes into the back of the house. There's a bit of a grade on it. I've checked. It's not great, but even if it's level, hopefully it'll work and it'll at least get it into where the trench goes, and then hopefully out to the street. Just have to go. I mean, I'm not going to remove the trench. I'm not going to do any more work. It's been a massive job, so just going to hope for the best. Worst case is I can dig it lower later, or figure something out later. For now, it's good enough. I've also managed to put in another conduit sort of thing using the same sort of ideas I've done in the past, which is to use a drainage pipe to allow the actual red conduit to go through it and get up into the lamppost. Because I want to eventually add a plug there. So if we want to do any, cutting of grass or, running a power washer or something like that, that I can plug into that. We also want to restore that lamp at some time. It's pretty cool. And if we ever want to run something like lights for the fountain or do something like that, we can get power right there. So that'll allow me to scooch under the concrete and get into that little area. I was kept busy for one of the days this week with basically, well, not quite a day, but about half a day, basically trying to drill through three or four, actually it was four holes into the garage, basically where the trench is on the back there. And then those pipes are basically going to be used for the fountain. There's a pump inside the garage. I'm just kind of temporarily sitting there to make sure it works. And it does work. It sprays a lot of water. So what I'm going to do is going to get a variable motor control to dial down this little pump. I thought it would be probably too weak to run, but it's just as strong as it was when I hooked it up to the water main. So I think it'll be good enough. And if I can dial it down, save the electricity, why not? What I've done over here, basically where the outflow of the fountain goes, and then it works its way under the ground and goes into the garage, is I've added a large drain pipe you normally use inside or outside, and basically I'm doing that just to allow in the future that if I ever want to run a new pipe through, if I ever want to run, I don't know, wire for disco lights in the fountain or something like that, I can just basically remove one tile that's around it, and then basically have full access to what's under there, so I don't have to dig it all out. There's tons of space in there. There's no way I'm going to fill it up. I got four more hoses in there. I could do a ton of stuff. So that's what I'm doing in this corner. I've also attached the drain, um, which is so the overflow drain. Have it running out um, into the trench as well. don't know if anyone has any other better ideas, but I've been trying to drive in stakes for when I make the forms around the fountain. So how do you do know how far it is and where to put the stakes? Basically, what I did is I took the center of the fountain outlet, where the spray comes out, and basically I stuck a rope around it, and I just measured a certain distance. So I measured basically a meter and then a meter and a half, and that gives me the distances for the inside and outside of the garden that's going to run along the little edge thing between the patio for the pool and the walkways. And it also gives me the rest of the circle on the whole side. It's not going to be perfect. The whole fountain is a bit wonky. It's like it's not exactly round, but let's be real. It's a fountain. It doesn't really matter. It's okay. So yeah. So basically, I used a level with that rope. Basically, what I do is I extend it out. I put the bottom of the level where I want this spike to go, or where it should go. And then as long as the level's level, I kind of get the right distance, if that makes sense. Hopefully it works. It seems to. It looks pretty even so far what I've done. I haven't done a lot, but that's going to be next week then I'm going to finish doing this circle. I'm not going to add the plywood on because I don't want it to get wet. So I'm going to put the gravel down and then basically put the plywood down or attach it and then cover it with plastic until we have time to pour it. Another day, I basically worked on filling in the trench. I put down plastic and the membrane, the geotextile, I guess, membrane, and then I put the pipes in that we need, and then I filled or wrapped around the French drain pipe with gravel as well, like large stone riverbed gravel. And this week I'll basically finish wrapping that up, and I'll put more gravel on top of it this week, and that'll get us closer to finishing that portion of it off. But so far everything looks like it works. I've run a pipe to what's going to be our gray water collection system. It's going to go from the back corner over there and pump all of the showers and sinks and whatnot, anything that's got semi-clean water in it. And then I'm going to have a valve that basically, what'd you say? It basically decides, I'll have a little tablet or something inside that we can switch so that the water, if we just use bleach or something like that, it'll go directly to the drain versus going into the collection system, which will be having the IBC tote containers in the garage, because I want to try to save as much water and be as environmentally friendly as possible. So that's going to be probably in about 3 weeks once I move the gravel. Then I'm going to start working on that and making a pit for it to sit in. I was lucky to be able to take advantage of the rain this week, and basically it made the ground soft enough that I could finish putting in a lot of the spikes for the forms that run around the house. Well, it was a great week. Got lots done. Yes, there was rain delays, but that's cool. Getting used to it now. I've got a busy week ahead. I've got to fill in all these holes, bury all these hoses, and basically just get ready for the gravel coming, because that'll be the next week, and it'll be very intense because I've got to get it off the road in a certain amount of time. About 4 days, because they're going to dump it and shut down the road in the back of the house. Got 4 days to move 13 tons, which I think shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see. Anyways, it's been a good week. I'm looking forward to all the work I got to do next week. It's going to be pretty intense, but good. And hope to see you next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.